So the Emerald Tablet, what is it really? Who wrote it? And where does it come from? First of all, this tablet is a one-page text. It's not many tablets or many pages or a book of hundreds of pages. It's just one single page. And it contains a very small text composed of 13 to 14 sentences only. But who found this tablet and where does it come from? Well, first of all, the tablet is still a mystery because no one really knows if it really existed or if it's just a myth or a legend. The first mention of this tablet was by one of the earliest alchemists known in history. He was also a magician and a philosopher. His name was Bolos of Mendes. He was Egyptian by origin, but Hellenized by the ancient Greeks. And he was the first to mention a sacred text engraved in a green emerald stone, which he found buried in an Egyptian temple's pillar. He said that the text is sacred and comes directly from Hermes Trismegistus. There are other sources and stories of its origin, but no one can really trace back the origin of this one text. However, it is the first text ever that mentions the phrase, as above, so below, as below, so above. In fact, a lot of people in the spiritual and New Age community nowadays use this phrase and throw it left and right without even knowing where it comes from and that it comes from one tablet. This one text mentioned in the tablet that's composed of 13 to 14 sentences is the foundation of alchemy and Hermeticism itself. Alchemists in ancient times, they used to hang this tablet in their laboratories as a reminder that it's the foundation of their work, of the grand work. But why is it called the Emerald Tablet? Why emerald? The green color in alchemy represents the occult, the hidden knowledge that is only accessible to the few. So it is said that this tablet was actually made from the emerald precious stone, which has the color green. And the color green in alchemy representing the hidden or the occult could have stemmed from the emerald tablet being made from emerald, which is green. It is also said that when Lucifer was cast away from the heavens and landed on earth, he had an emerald stone on his forehead that contained the knowledge of creation, existence, and the universe. When he landed on earth, he removed this stone, this emerald stone, and he left it on earth for whoever could find it. Could this emerald stone on Lucifer's forehead be the representation of the emerald tablet? Maybe. The color green also coincides with the language of the birds in alchemy, also known as the green language. It is heavily used in alchemy to code important information about the alchemical knowledge. This can only be deciphered by the initiates of the tradition who understand the language of the birds. Therefore, using emerald in your practice can help you unveil occult knowledge and maybe increase your awareness of spirit and the unknown. It is also said that this one small page that contains 13 or 14 sentences, if studied carefully and deciphered properly, can lead you to accomplishing your Philosopher's Stone. It is the recipe for it, but you need to first decipher it. The first translation on record that was done of the Emerald Tablet was by the Arab renowned alchemist Jabir ibn Hayyan, also known as Jabir, in his book, The Second Book of the Elements of the Foundation, in the 8th century AD. Jabir was the first alchemist to translate the Emerald Tablet from the Greeks to Arabic. Another early translation was done by the Greek philosopher Apollonius of Tyana in his book, The Secret of Creation and the Art of Nature, in the 8th or 9th century AD as well, where he describes how he discovered the Emerald Tablet in a cave tomb in Tyana. Then afterwards, in medieval Europe, in the 12th century, we will see the translation of the Emerald Tablet from Arabic to Latin for the first time, done by multiple authors, alchemists, and occultists, including Isaac Newton, Aleister Crowley, John Dee, and Helena Blavatsky. I want to mention here that the tablet was also referred to as the Smaragdine tablet or the Tabula Smaragdina, which is a translation from Arabic. However, I want to bring your attention here to something very important. This is very different from a text you may find online called the Emerald Tablets with S of Thoth the Atlantean. The author of this book is American occultist Maurice Doriel, and this book mentions 15 tablets. He claims that these tablets are the tablets of creation and that he received this knowledge during his astral travel to Tibet. So basically, he claims that he channeled the information during his astral travel and wrote the book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. Maurice Doriel was heavily inspired by the renowned occultist Helena Blavatsky, and he also established an organization called the White Brotherhood of the Temple in 1933. So I just want to warn you here, because I fell for this trap at first as well. The book of Maurice Doriel is quite popular. Many people have read it, including myself, and I've read it many times. And I thought that was the Emerald Tablets, and I wasn't aware of the original tablet of alchemy until years later when I came across the Emerald Tablet, the foundation of alchemy that alchemists use in medieval times and even prior to medieval times. So remember, if you come across this book, it does start with, I think, something like, I am Thoth the Atlantean who ruled over Atlantis and ancient Egypt and something like that. Be aware, I just want you to be aware, that's not the Emerald Tablet, the original tablet of alchemy. That's just a book, a story written by an occultist author. Okay? Because I see many people online, especially in the New Age community, referring to this book, to Maurice Doriel's book, as the actual Emerald Tablets. And here I want to build on this by mentioning that there is a legend in Egyptian mythology that says that Thoth, the god of knowledge, the actual god of knowledge, Thoth, wrote a book that is composed of 15 tablets, and it was called the Book of Thoth. However, this book, no one knows where it is, no one knows if it really exists or not, no one knows what it does really contain. Some people say some private collectors have it, some people say the elites have it, and they're making sure it doesn't go to the public. But it is said that this Book of Thoth, if you have it, you will get the Philosopher's Stone and you will decipher the creation of the universe. But again, I just want to warn you, this is not the Book of Thoth, because the Book of Thoth that comes from Egyptian mythology, no one has it, at least publicly. So even if you go and read the book of Maurice Doriel, read it with a grain of salt and know that it's someone who wrote it in the 30s. Now, let's read the tablet together and see if we can actually decipher it. Because there are many translations online, I'm gonna read a couple translations and see what we can learn. So, as I mentioned, the text is composed of 14 sentences, and you can find many translations from various sources. I'm going to read an English translation from French renowned alchemist Fulcanelli. Okay, so let's get right to it. I want you to read with me on the screen and see for yourself what information can you understand, what can you channel. And the Emerald Tablet goes as such. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. As below, so above, and as above, so below. With this knowledge alone, you may work miracles. And since all things exist in and emanate from the One, who is the ultimate cause, so all things are born after their kind from this One. The sun is the father, the moon the mother. The wind carried it in his belly. Earth is its nurse and its guardian. It is the father of all things. The eternal will is contained in it. Here on earth, its strength, its power remain one and undivided. Earth must be separated from fire, the subtle from the dense, gently with unremitting care. It arises from the earth and descends from heaven. It gathers to itself the strength of things above and things below. By means of this one thing, all the glory of the world shall be yours, and all obscurity flee from you. It is power, strong with the strength of all power, for it will penetrate all mysteries and dispel all ignorance. By it the world was created. From it are born manifold wonders, the means to achieving which are here given. It is for this reason that I am called Hermes Trismegistus, for I possess the three essentials of the philosophy of the universe. This is the sum total of the work of the sun. This was fascinating, truly fascinating. Such a short text that has so much to unpack, so much to decipher. And as you notice here, Hermes Trismegistus, or whoever wrote this emerald tablet, in the last sentence it says, this is the sum total of the work of the sun. The work of the sun, and since we all know that alchemy and occult knowledge comes from ancient Egypt, Ra is the sun god. It was the main highest deity in ancient Egypt. So here we see the coherences between the work of the sun and the sun god Ra. So let's try to decipher the tablet together and see what we can understand from it. The first sentence says, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So here the meaning is very clear that there is only one truth, and it is what is said here. The second sentence, as below, so above, and as above, so below. You notice here that the sentence starts with as below, so above, and not as above, so below, which is quite interesting. So as below, so above, as above, so below. With this knowledge alone, you may work miracles. So if you can decipher this phrase, as below, so above, as above, so below, you can work miracles in your life if you understand that the microcosm and the macrocosm are nothing but the same thing. If you can understand that what happens everywhere in the universe happens around you in your life, if you can understand how an ant gets her food or a bee gets pollen, then you will understand how you can get also your own food and how you can survive as well. As above, so below. If you can understand that what's going on within you is what's going on outside of you, if you can understand this concept, then you can make miracles happen. Truly fascinating. Then we move on to the third phrase, and since all things exist in and emanate from the one who is the ultimate cause, so all things are born after their kind from this one. Here it means that everything comes from this one source, this one creation. So everything that comes from this creation reflects creation, looks like creation, and has attributes of this creation. So don't you think that what we create, including ourselves and the animals and the living beings and everything that's in existence, don't you think that it's different from creation? All of it is part of creation. The good, the bad, dangerous, the evil, everything is part of creation and comes from creation because it's the image of creation. Here, I notice it's kind of religious because a lot of monotheistic religions state the same thing as well, which is quite interesting. Number 4, we have the sun is the father, the moon is the mother. This is an alchemical concept. The sun is the father, here is the element of gold, and this representation of the divine masculine. And the moon is the mother. The moon is the element of silver. So we have gold and silver, and the moon is the representation of the feminine divine. So we have masculine divine, feminine divine combined together in harmony. So this creation, this oneness has parents, divine masculine and the divine feminine. The sun, the moon, gold and silver. Don't you forget that. Number 5, the wind carried it in his belly. Earth is its nurse and its guardian. Here, the wind carried it in its belly. Wind here is spirit. We're talking about the representation of the spirit realm. The wind is spirit, and spirit nourishes your soul. Without spirit, you can't exist. And the second part of the phrase is, earth is its nurse and its guardian. Earth is the representation of the physical reality, of the elements that makes us who we are, us physically. It's earth. So we have the balance between spirit and between the physical, between air, the element of air, and the element of earth. Without them together, you cannot exist. Here, the tablet is trying to tell us that both the spiritual plane and the physical plane are equally important. The spirit nourishes you, and it makes you who you are, and earth is where you manifest the spirit. On earth, you become who you're supposed to be. Because a lot of people who are having a spiritual awakening, they completely forget the physicality of the equation. They think everything is about spirit, everything is about ascension, and they forget that in order to reach that ascension, you have to understand the physical world as well. Number 6, it is the father of all things. Here we have oneness again and one creation. It's a reminder. The eternal will is contained in it. The eternal will is contained in this Father, in this creation, in this oneness. Number 7, here on earth, its strength, its power remain one and undivided. Here it means that even if you're on earth and we have polarity, we have duality, we have things that are very different, but the power of this oneness, of this creation, of this Father is undivided on earth, even though it seems that it's divided. But it's a reminder for us to creation, to oneness, that power is undivided, no matter how it seems divided. And then we carry on. Earth must be separated from fire, the subtle from the dense, gently with unremitting care. Here, this is an alchemical process. Earth must be separated from fire. And then we have the subtle from the dense. In alchemy, the transmutation, during the alchemical transformation, this is the process that happens, that the subtle must be separated from the dense. And here it is said, earth separated from fire. So earth is the physical, fire is the representation of sulfur, is the representation of that energy that makes you who you are. This energy that fuels your soul. But you have to separate them. As you can see, it says here on earth, not in the spirit realm, here on earth. These two must be first separated. So in alchemy, when alchemists take one metal to work with it, what they're going to do first is dissolve it. They're going to apply heat to it. They're going to oxidize it. They're going to try to decompose the metal so they can separate the subtle from the dense, so they can reduce the metal to its original form. So here it is said that to transform, to understand creation, to ascend, you have to go through this alchemical transformation, which requires you first to separate and decompose and dissolve yourself. Everything has to be first dissolved and separated so you can know who you are, because you're an accumulation of many things. So how can you know who you are if you're a bunch of things all glued together? So you have to unglue yourself, separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense. The subtle here is your spirit. The dense is your physical body. You can only understand your spirit if you separate it from your physical body. Then you can understand who you are and figure out who you are. So you must do these operations. These are alchemical operations. And then we have gently with unremitting care. Gently with unremitting care. In other translations, this phrase is translated to gently with great industry. As in, like, this separation process that's mentioned in this phrase, this solution process has to be done so carefully because it's the hardest for your transformation. It's very challenging. It takes years for it to take place. So it has to be done very carefully and gently and with great industry. So we're not playing here. This is not a game. Okay? You have to do it with care. And then we move on to number 8. It arises from the earth and descends from heaven. What arises from earth? What are we talking about here? Your soul, your spirit. After you do the alchemical work and you separate and dissolve and separate the subtle from the dense, then you have your purest form, your spirit, your soul. The soul arises. This pure form of you arises from earth like a phoenix. It arises from earth and it goes to the heavens and it becomes the new form in the heavens, and then it descends back to earth. Here we have the mention of the popular phrase solve e coagula, solve and coagulate, which means you first do the work and then you rise like a phoenix, you go to the spirit realm, you learn, you harness that beautiful energy from the spirit realm, you become a new version of yourself, and then you descend again from the heavens back to earth. This is the missing point in the spiritual New Age community. Everyone is talking about ascension, but no one is mentioning the fact that after you ascend, you have to descend again with what you have learned, what you have harnessed, with that beautiful new energy. You have to take it, descend back to earth, so the transformation can be completed. And then we have, it gathers to itself the strength of things above and things below. That's how you can have the strength of the above and the below. You have to go first up to the above and descend back to the below, because it's as above, so below. And then you can have mastery over the realm of the spirit and the realm of the physical together. Number 9, by means of this one thing, all the glory of the world shall be yours, and all obscurity flee from you. Here, the tablet is mentioning mastery. If you master this process and if you can accomplish it, you get your Philosopher's Stone, and the glory of the world shall be yours. The obscurity is gonna flee from you, and you're gonna become godlike. Number 10, it is power, strong with the strength of all power, for it will penetrate all mysteries and dispel all ignorance. Here the tablet is describing the power of this alchemical transmutation after it's completed. It is like magic. You become so powerful. You become as strong as the strengths of all power. Even the way it's described here is mesmerizing, as in, once you reach this stage, once you reach this level, and I always mention this in many of my content, you do become godlike. You can make miracles. That's why when we hear Jesus or the Buddha making miracles and other sages before them, they have completed this process. They have reached the Philosopher's Stone. They were able to make miracles. They were able to create from thin air, or teleport, or walk on water, or transform one thing to the other, or magical things that will seem magical to us. But here the tablet is describing that once you do the work and accomplish your Philosopher's Stone, you will become something extraordinary, literally. Number 11, by it the world was created. This power, once you have it, it is the power that created the world. So if you get there, congratulations, because you can become a real creator. Number 12, from it are born manifold wonders, the means to achieving which are here given. You see again, the tablet is reminding you that this thing, this Philosopher's Stone, can make wonders and miracles happen in the world. But the means to achieve it are mentioned in here in this tablet. So that means just read the above sentences again, and they have the recipe to create this stone or to create this process that will give you this power. And the tablet closes by saying in number 13, "It is for this reason that I am called Hermes Trismegistus, for I possess the three essentials of the philosophy of the universe." Here, Hermes Trismegistus is reminding us of three, the number of mastery, the Trinity. In alchemy, it's the three phases. I mentioned them in my other video, the stages of alchemy. We have nigredo, albedo, and rubedo, which are three essential phases to accomplish the Philosopher's Stone. That's more alchemy in depth, but Hermes Trismegistus here is reminding every alchemist that the magnum opus, the grand work, requires three essential phases. That's how you become godlike. That's how you become the master. And you have to go through these three phases in order to attain this kind of power. And that's why he called them the three essentials of the philosophy of the universe. And number 14, he ends by saying, "This is the sum total of the work of the sun." The work of the sun, because this knowledge comes from ancient Egypt. And in ancient Egypt, Ra, the sun god, was revered. He was the main deity, the highest deity. And we know that for the Egyptians, the sun was very important. So this proves that this knowledge dates back to ancient Egypt. And this is the translation of the Emerald Tablet. So what do you guys think? It is truly fascinating, right? Just one small text. It holds a lot of knowledge. It holds a lot of enigmas at the same time. And alchemists have spent their whole lives studying this one text in order to reach the Philosopher's Stone. Because everyone would want to have this power. Everyone would want to have this kind of level of creation. And some alchemists claimed that they have reached this power. And this is what I have for the Emerald Tablet. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. If you've heard of the Emerald Tablet, if you've read it before, what does it mean to you? And I highly recommend you to read it yourself. Read it, see what you can learn from it, because it's truly fascinating. I've been obsessed with it for years and years, and I always keep going back to it. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.